The Winning Straw by Letitia Y. Langston. May I have one more straw, please? Sophie asked the waitress. At that very moment, Sophie knew she held the winning straw in her hand. She simply knew she would be the winner. This is it, the winning straw, she shouted. Her dad looked at her and winked. Her brother Matt rolled his eyes. Matt was the neighborhood straw racing champion. His straw had raced down the hill, around the curb, to the end of the street faster and more often than any other straw in the neighborhood. Now all I have to do is wait for it to rain, said Sophie proudly. Then I look for a stream of water flowing down the hill, hold my straw over it, and drop it when I hear the word go. The first straw to make it down the hill, around the curb, to the end of the street is the winner. Sophie thought of the old hand-me-down straw Matt used to let her use for races that she had entered and lost. She looked at her new red straw. Yep, she thought, this one's a winner for sure. Even though Sophie played soccer and basketball and competed in bike races and even video game tournaments, she had never ever won. Matt always said it was because she's a girl, but this time I'll show him. My straw is definitely going to win, Sophie thought. Okay, said Matt. You know the rules. But don't forget the most important ones. You can run next to your straw, but you can't touch it. And if the straw stops before reaching the end of the street, you're out. Sophie and Dad looked at each other and smiled. Later that afternoon, Sophie heard Matt calling, Sophie, where are you? Come here. Matt was standing outside looking at the dark clouds overhead. Sophie, it's supposed to rain tonight, so tomorrow will be race day. As your winning big brother, I'm going to give you a few more pointers about straw racing. Matt then showed her how to drop the straw at the left side of the water. He told her to always be the last one to drop their straw. But if I'm the last one to start, won't I be the last one to finish? Sophie asked. No, Matt explained. If there are any leaves, mud, or tree branches, the other straws will push them out of the way, making a clear path for your straw to make it down the hill, around the curb, to the end of the street. Gee, thanks for your advice, Matt. Sophie couldn't believe he was so willing to help. Oh, and one other thing, Matt added, as he walked back into the house. No girl has ever won the straw race. Sophie could hardly sleep that night. Please let it rain. Please let it rain, she wished. The next morning, Sophie was overjoyed to see the streets filled with streams of water and puddles everywhere. Yes, Sophie shouted as she grabbed her new red straw and dashed out the door. With every step, she could feel her heart racing faster and faster. She was positive her new red straw would make it down the hill, around the curb, to the end of the street before all the others. Wait for me, Matt yelled as he ran out behind her. The neighborhood kids were already at the top of the hill when Sophie and Matt arrived. Sophie shivered with excitement as everyone waited for the race to begin. Why did you bother showing up? One of the kids screamed at Sophie. This is a boys' game. There is no way a girl will ever win the straw race. This time will be different, you will see, Sophie shouted. Yeah, you wish, another kid teased from the crowd. Win this one for the girls, Ella yelled to Sophie. Sophie was nervous, but knew this was her chance. She wouldn't let Ella and the other girls down. The contestants lined up. There was Cody, whose old white straw, chewed on both ends, had come from the school cafeteria. There was Josh, who had his yellow striped straw from the older neighborhood boy who had moved away. There was TJ, who found his lucky blue straw lying on the floor under a restaurant table. And there was Sophie, who until today had used her brother's hand-me-down straw. The boys were ready, each holding his straw over the stream of water. Come on, Sophie, take out your hand-me-down straw, yelled someone in the crowd. Wow, wait, what? The boys shouted when Sophie pulled her new red straw from under her jacket. Ooh, ah! Everyone moved closer to see Sophie's new red straw. Where's Matt's hand-me-down straw? Cody asked. I have my own straw now, so it doesn't matter where it is. All you need to worry about is my straw being the winner, Sophie answered. On your mark, get set, go, yelled Matt. Each contestant dropped their straw and took off down the hill. The anxious crowd followed. Oh no, shouted Cody as his straw hit a rock and came to a sudden stop. You're out, yelled Matt. TJ, Josh, and Sophie continued running alongside their straws. The crowd cheered. No, you've got to be kidding, TJ yelled as his lucky blue straw came to a stop. My straw is full of mud. There's no way I can win. You're out, yelled Matt. I guess your lucky straw is not so lucky after all, Sophie taunted as she continued to run alongside her new red straw. Go, red straw, go! The crowd yelled as Sophie gained the lead. All of a sudden, Josh screamed, No! As Sophie's new red straw floated right past his yellow striped one. Suddenly, the cheering got louder. The street was filled with sounds of laughter and clapping. Then, I won! I won! Sophie yelled, jumping up and down as her new red straw slid to a stop at the end of the street. Sophie ran over to give Ella a big hug. Girl power, they shouted in unison. Suddenly, Sophie saw a familiar face in the crowd. She didn't know her dad had been watching the race the entire time. He was proud of his daughter and happy she had won her first straw race. He boosted her up on his shoulders and paraded her around the neighborhood. Matt and the crowd of kids all followed, shouting, Sophie, Sophie, Sophie. Finally, Sophie was so happy. Her new red straw had made it down the hill, around the curb, to the end of the street before all the others. The end.